Alright guys, the time is now for a showdown between the Empire, who's going to be led by Boris Toadbringer and his powerful mustache, and the Wood Elves, who are going to be led by a Glade Lord atop her mighty Forest Dragon. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So here in the front line, we do have a couple groups of swordsmen, which are pretty standard in this matchup. I think in total we do have 3, including the Sigmar Sons, which are the ROR. So these guys are definitely very gangster. 38 melee attack, 44 melee defense, unbreakable, decent weapon strength, shielded. A very, very solid pick against the Wood Elves. So we do have 3 groups of swordsmen and 2 flagellants. So I really wanted to have kind of a unbreakable front line that was going to have some, I wouldn't say stopping power, but maybe more sticking power. So we're going to see how they do. And honestly, most of these troops will perform pretty effectively against like Dryads and Eternal Guards and things like that. So hopefully they'll do the trick. On top of that, we do have a couple of groups of heavy cav, but we're not going to be going all in on heavy cav. So one of the more traditional schools of thought for dealing with Wood Elves is just to get Reiksguard, Empire Knights, and get like at least 4 or 5 heavy cav units and just swarm them. Now that's very, very effective, and it's very tough for the Wood Elves to handle. But today I wanted to try something a little bit more well-rounded. So we do have 2 Reiksguard, 1 here, and we have the Zentler's Reiksguard, I think in Vanguard over here in the forest. They're ready to party for sure. They got good armor, they got shields, definitely very solid. But we're going to be trying out grenade launchers. So we do have 2 groups of Outriders with the grenade launchers, very good against light targets. So Way Watchers, Eternal Guards, Dryads, Azrai Spears, pretty much the entire Wood Elf roster except the Treekin and of course the big scary dragons and treemen are going to be taking a lot of damage from the Outriders with grenade launchers. So these guys definitely going to be pretty threatening for sure, but we'll see how the Wood Elves deal with them. In the back we do have 2 mortars. Mortars are always pretty good against Wood Elves. Way Watchers are one of the more common picks to deal with heavy cav, and basically once you find the Way Watchers, they come out of stock, you just basically sit the mortars on them the entire game, and you're going to get some pretty good value. 2 spearmen here, and for our leadership, we do have the Toadbringer, and he's got his powerful mustache, as we did say, and he does have the Midland Runefang, as well as Crush the Weak, which is a pretty cool ability. Jade Wizard here with the Lore of Life, definitely very solid. You need it against Wood Elves because, again, if they just get like a huge, I wouldn't say lucky, but a well-aimed volley on Boris or a high-value target, it's going to bring them down to like almost half health. So you really need to be able to counteract their burst damage with healing. So that's it for my whole force. For my opponent, he does have a Forest Dragon or a Glade Lord on a Forest Dragon, which is going to be pretty good against a heavy cav. Definitely a cool inclusion here. I do have the Silver Bullets up here on the high ground as well, who are going to give me at least some sort of an answer to the Dragon. Got some Hawk Riders. Hawk Riders decent for harass, going after artillery pieces, rear charging cav with a really good melee armor piercing. Actually, they have 45 weapon damage, so they can definitely do some work. He's got a couple groups of Way Watchers. They deal with my heavy cav as well. Dryads and a Branch Wraith here with Earthblood and Melkosts. Couple spears, and then also he does have Azrai spears here in the back, so I think he has 2 in total. So guys, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So right now my Zentler's Reiksguard trying to come in for some freebies. His Silver Bullets getting some pot shots up here at the Glade Lord, which is definitely quite nice. Way Watchers are going to be unleashing a huge volley. They were just on automatic fire, so unfortunately they shot swordsmen, but that pretty much happens every time. So I do charge in with the Zentler's Reiksguard. Now this was a little bit risky. I thought he was committing more to the front with his dragon, so I just basically screwed up horribly there. The Reiksguard are going to be pulling back, taking some massive casualties, but I'm going to be pulling them back to the grenade launchers. Here comes the first volley, so the grenade launchers coming in, tagging these Eternal Guards, so at least I'm going to get some retaliation here as some of these Wood Elves are scorched by those grenades. And grenade launchers actually do pretty good work against light targets, so I do some good damage against the Eagles, and okay against the Eternal Guard. They weren't really bunched up. That actually became a little bit better. Frontline engagement is about to be underway, so the Sigmar Sons and the Flagellants are all going to be charging into the Dryads. I don't know who would win that, like Dryads or Flagellants. I feel like Flagellants might. Reiksguard coming right down the pipe are just going to be slamming into these Dryads, doing some huge damage for sure. They have very, very poor defensive stats, relatively speaking. 24 melee defense, 60 armor, I guess isn't terrible. In the meantime, though, his dragon and everything is pretty much occupied over here. So if you look, you can see the dragon, Prey of Anathrama going down on my grenade launcher, so he's probably going to kill one of those groups. I definitely took a lot of damage. I basically lost an entire group of Zentler's Reiksguard. I got prayed. I'm going to most likely be losing this other grenade launcher group, so very well played to my opponent right out of the gates there. Very sloppy play from me, but he's certainly capitalized. So the Silver Bullets are going to be rotating over to pressure the dragon. Some of these swordsmen are going to be going in the back line. However, it's not all bad. We've certainly been winning in the front line. We punished the Dryads badly. Our mortars are doing a ton of damage to the Way Watchers. Actually, it's slowly starting to add up here. And also, I'm able to isolate his caster. So I get Boris, I get the Jade Wizard, and I send them after the Branch Wraith, who is a little bit alone here. So definitely some very good stuff going on. From here, we should be able to drive him off the battlefield. You can see the Branch Wraith does break, and Boris can certainly hunt him down. I don't know if I want to like allocate someone to chase him off the battlefield, but I think I actually pressure him here for a moment. My opponent is going to be positioning his Azrai Spears to protect the Branch Wraith, so yeah, definitely going to have to fall back. So my Reiksguard, who did charge in the front, taking massive Overwatch fire from the Way Watchers. They're able to burn those guys down. I do get a decent heal, but nonetheless, I will have to fall back. So my auxiliary troops, the swordsmen I had in reserve, will be engaging these Eternal Guard in a bit of a downhill charge. Should be able to do well there. Sigmar Sun's just monster mashing the Dryads. Flagellant's doing very well against the Eternal Guard, and I do have a lot of pressure on the back line. So here's where things are going to get a little bit interesting. So his birds, the Hawk Riders, do kind of push over here. My Silver Bullets, of course, in great position, are able to just punish those Hawk Riders. Grenade Launchers, I did decide to engage as well. I was like, I'm going to get as much damage as I can, and then simply pull back. But I did switch my Overwatch fire from these Silver Bullets on top of the Glade Lord on the Dragon. Glade Lord's taking quite a bit of damage, but it's probably going to go over here. Expecting the Dragon to attack, I just kind of put my Jade Wizard as well as my Reiksguard here, just kind of sitting very defensively. And it looks like the Spearmen are going to be able to fend off the Azrai Spears with the support of the Grenade Launchers, and the Mortars are still firing very, very happily at the Eternal Guard up here. So in the back, I do get Boris just balls deep in here. He's able to take out that Branch Wraith. It looks like the Branch Wraith might shatter negatives. Oh man, it looks like it stabilizes with 23. Azrai Spears are coming in. It looks like a Melkos Mystifying Miasma as well to slow me. I should be able to escape, though. I do have a decent little path of an avenue to squeak out here. Mortars are still raining fire down on the Way Watchers, generating that value over the long game here. Way Watchers are still doing quite a bit of damage, though, but yeah, I definitely need to squeak out of there. Over here, though, the Dragon does land on the Silver Bullets, and I attack with the Jade Wizard. He's actually wavering. 16 leadership right here, takes a rear charge from the Jade Wizard, put down to negative 13, so definitely very good stuff from Radagast right here, doing a good old time. Over here, we do also have the Spearmen, who are going to be going to fend off the Hawk Riders, but very good play from my opponent. He's able to screen out the Mortar real quick and actually scare off the crew, but now my Grenade Launchers are online, and there's a lot of free targets here, so these Dryads are going to just nuked by these Grenade Launchers, taking quite a bit of damage. I should be able to kind of fend them off the battlefield, but I think I actually send the Grenade Launchers in the back line right now, and it looks like the frontline fight isn't going terribly. Flagellant's pushing up here. My Sigmar Sons have won their battle, in a pretty one-sided manner, so they should be able to kill these Dryads and just keep pouring into the back line. In the meantime, I do chase the Dragon with my Jade Wizard and Boris, although I don't need to be chasing with both of these. I think I end up pulling Boris back to the battle, but the Jade Wizard will keep chasing, because Boris definitely can do some work over here. The Reiksguard are going to be charging back in, trying to do some free damage to the Azrai Spears, but I do leave them in a little bit too long, and they break again. Swordsmen here are going to be fighting 50 models. Definitely, yeah, they're pretty beat up. They're at negative leadership, give or take, too, from taking some of that fire. But the backline's just getting absolutely wild. So the Sentinels Reiksguard are actually back online somehow. And they came in, they're starting to chase the Way Watchers. The Sigmar Sons are pressing into the backline. And now I have these Outriders with Grenade Launchers who are going to be coming in and dropping some hot fire on these Way Watchers. So they're in position now. Let's see if they can get a good volley. Although he is going to be screening me with the Branch Wraith, but check it out. Here comes the grenades on the Deepwood Scouts, actually. Oh man, look at that damage coming in. It didn't do the most model damage, or I guess kill the most models, but it actually did some really good HP damage. But Wood Elves are getting pressed a little bit. Boris Todbringer is going to be hunting down some of the Deepwood Scouts here in the back, potentially screening them out. My high ground position's pretty safe. I have Spearmen in reserve. I have another group here. I do, of course, have my Grenade Launchers who can give me really good tactical play here on these War Dancers. And the Spearmen of the Empire are going to be intercepting these angry ladies and definitely doing a pretty good job. They do get that downhill charge, although their charge bonus is pretty limp. I think it's like 4. The War Dancers have 1 of 12, though, so I guess that's not much better. But anyways, the Branch Wraith is going to be overextending a little bit, going after my Grenade Launchers, but he does kind of fend me off from the back line with that. But in the meantime, Boris Todbringer is just going to be karate chopping these Deepwood Scouts, and the Sigmar Sons just pushing on. 35 models. Might actually be able to kill like everything back here, which would be really, really nice. But my Mortar firing battery is still online as well, so even though the Sigmar Sons might have a little bit of trouble catching those Way Watchers, I still have that perpetual pressure. We do actually break off the Branch Wraith. It does get an Earthblood, but we're able to get some grenade shots on it to break it off. Spearmen are doing a good job holding, all things considered. They will probably eventually lose this fight without support, but at this point I see an opening. I'm like, okay, I see this spot here. I'm just going to go park my Grenade Launchers right behind these Azrai Spears and see if I can do any heavy damage. Silver Bullets, in the meantime, going to be shooting at the Branch Wraith. The enemy Lord, however, a bit of a mistake on my part, did come back. I chased him to the edge of the map, and I think this is, where my character fell here. I think I saw, what's going on there? It keeps, disappearing when I zoom in, but he actually rallied at, the edge of the map and was able to kill my Jade Wizard, which was a huge bummer, but, it does happen. Maybe I should have sent Boris as well, but Boris has been doing a really good job in the forest, just sweeping through these Way Watchers, hunting down some of these Deepwood Scouts, definitely doing some good work. The Flagellants, in the meantime, falling back. I'm trying to re-secure my position. Oh yeah, look at that. So I got these guys behind. They're just going to be launching a full salvo of their grenades into the back of these Azrai Spears, and a little bit of collateral damage, but it's okay. And we just massacred those Azrai Spears. They basically lost half their HP. Just got crushed and broken. So now the Spearmen of the Empire should be able to fend them off. So definitely some solid stuff from the Grenade Launchers, which I've actually been enjoying quite a bit in this matchup. There's a ton of good targets on the Wood Elf roster, and oftentimes the Wood Elf missile units aren't really going to be targeting the Outriders, right? They're going to be targeting your heavy cav, your Silver Bullets, your other stuff. So I feel like they can definitely get some work done. Branch Wraith is indeed broken off. It looks like it's going to be actually shattered off the battlefield. Reiksguard are back online. A lot of the Wood Elf forces are shattering, and you can see the men and the lads of the Empire are going to be rallying here. The mortars are back online. The silver bullets are advancing. Now it's pretty much just Boris versus this Glade Lord, which he should be able to win, actually, because Boris has really good combat stats. So Boris does charge in. He's going to be fighting the dragon in the final duel here. And let's actually take a look at the stat line of the dragon. So it's actually, Boris is going to be lowering the melee attack. But right now, 39, 44, 40. And it looks like Boris is 65, 55, and 430. So definitely not bad. Boris does, of course, have a solid charge bonus as well. So he's able to get in there and definitely doing some work. Now the grenades are following up and just nuking some of these Wood Elves here in the forest. Definitely a very feel-good moment for everyone. For me, I don't know. When it comes to like Elves, I do like Wood Elves, like as a faction. I think that, I'm talking more thematically. Like I really like Orion, I really like Durthu. I don't like so much the kiting style of play, but I guess like a more well-rounded. I like the Wood Elves is what I'm trying to say, more than the High Elves and the Dark Elves. But it's definitely very satisfying seeing the Elves get taken out by grenade launchers and things like that. But very well played to my opponent. It was quite a fierce cockfight for sure. His initial gambit in the beginning, well, I wouldn't call it a gambit, but his initial approach of like praying me and taking out my Reiksguard and really capitalizing on the mistakes I made was super strong. And I certainly could have lost the game from that. But we were able to stabilize, get the grenade launchers online, get the mortars pressuring the missile units in the back, win that infantry fight. The flagellants and the swordsmen did a really good job, and they kind of poured into the back line. And the silver bullets were also another huge MVP because they were able to just lay huge fire into that Glade Lord, which was definitely a thing of beauty. For my opponent's army, the dragon's definitely an off-meta pick, but again, off-meta stuff can catch people off guard, just like Orion, for example. But it did pretty good against my knights in the beginning. It was a powerful presence on the battle, but it certainly did get taken out pretty bad by these silver bullets. Dryads in the front line definitely do the trick. I mean, they do okay against swordsmen. It's pretty much a wash. I mean, of course, Sigmar's sons are going to win, but yeah, they're not a bad pick at all. Azurai Spears, I like Azurai Spears against heavy cav. Granted, the thing about Azurai Spears is they have super light armor, so if they do take an unbraced charge from cav, they just get pounded. So there is a bit of a downside to them. But I've actually been using Treekin quite a bit to protect, and Treekin like mixed up with like Eternal Guard and things like that. But there's definitely a lot you can do. So very well played to my opponent, Ryzen. Look forward to running into you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this Empire vs. Wood Elf game. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.